One game into Playday number 9, the final day of the group stage here in the NAL Wild. The playoffs are just so close around the corner early next week. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jonas Willinger alongside Foxay and Laxing as we get into Game 2, M80 and Shopify Rebellion. The story for M80, can they lock in that third place? For Shopify, big deal here, trying to stay undefeated.
Yeah, it's a battle for pride. I mean, obviously, Shopify wants to make a statement, especially with how much we were praising Dark Zero. I know for them personally, they want to be able to hold first. As for M80, I mean, seeding's great. When you're a third seed, you play against a sixth seed. Still haven't figured out who that's going to be, but it makes things that much easier on your first playoff match.
Well, other than their loss to Cruelty, M80 have had a great stage. It hasn't been up to Shopify's level, undefeated, but it's been pretty good. We've seen some moments where this team has really come together.
I would say it's been on the up and up, have a little hiccups, but at least from Reload until now, we're definitely seeing far more consistency across the board with this M80 roster, especially coming out of that game versus SSG, where we knew that was going to be a good head-to-head. Those players knew what that game was going to entail, and they came out on top. They knew how to control the aggression. They knew how to apply that aggression. And again, M80 is just looking to be really well-rounded. And when I think about the roster now than compared to what it was then, it is a checklist for them. When you look at what happened in Reload, and now when you look at the stage, it is one giant checklist. First, that first beginning is to make playoffs. They're already secure that. Second of the checklist is to then to be in the top 4. Hopefully top 2, obviously, I would say that they would want to then acquire those SI points, qualify for majors. Then it's step 3 of going to actually an international event under this M80 organization and actually bring home a title like they did back with Beast Coast, winning back during, not Montreal. Manchester. So again, it is a big checklist for me when it comes to M80, and they've already ticked off one of those boxes. Now it's a matter of they get through today, focus on what we can see going into playoffs, and then implicate the next step of going into playoffs.
I mean, the unique version of this M80 compared to other M80s is the fact that not only do you have Hot and Cold, who is right now a very solid IGL, as opposed to M80 always struggling to find that IGL leadership role, but now you have a coach in Fabian who can also hold a lot of that pressure when it comes to strat building. And so it's just a little bit of natural progression that this M80 is going through. They just look way more dynamic as a team compared to previous renditions.
Well, Shopify Rebellion, another dynamic team. We've kind of seen some ins and outs and how this team has flowed over the course of the stage. Now the only team still undefeated after their big win against Dark Zero yesterday. Clearly, this team is the best we got in NA right now.
Absolutely. I mean, and they made a statement game against DZ. It really was back and forth, but it was nice to see them claim that spot. And if the game happened a lot sooner, I'm sure we'd be sitting here talking about how Shopify is the one that would be untouched by every single team. And obviously they had a very up and down start, but they were still winning at the start of the stage. But now they've really come into solidifying how dominant they've been. And in their game against Dark Zero, I mean, not only do we have the big plays from these big players like Ambi and Spoit that we're used to seeing, but we're also able to see the discipline out of them, which is something that we wanted to see younger players, rookie players like Ambi and Spoit have like an IGL like Canadian, be able to reel them in when time comes down to it.
I think you also have to mention their approach to Spirits versus any other team. You talked about the Heavy, and I think you should talk about it even now, what Shopify did that no other team has done.
No, absolutely. I think the intellectual part of Shopify and Canadian, that was probably the biggest reason on why an IGL like him is so valuable, because every other team that approached Dark Zero was so worried about Spirits. They would either ban his operators to take him off shields, which he would just play other operators, or they would try to not ban his operators. And one way or another, they're either running away from Spirits and dying to the back line of Citizens, or they're fighting Spirits and they're losing to the shields, which the way that Shopify went about it is they banned Citizens ops on the back line so that he didn't have as much control and flexibility, and then directly held crossfires. They held crossfires against Spirits directly and fought him head on, not to give him that position in the first place. And without Spirits, Dark Zero didn't always have a response on being able to push Shopify back.
Well, coming into the stage, Super said about this Shopify team that the addition of Spoit was to make this team a little bit more aggressive and to get a little bit more active. Laxing, do you feel like they've lived up to that so far?
Yes in some areas, no in some, because when you think of their old roster, they had Grixer and Troy. Troy isn't known to be a super highly aggressive player. He's the man with the plan. So in terms of then you remove Grixer, you bring Spoit. Spoit does bring that aggression. He can pop off, he can play with the team. But then again, when you think of Grixer, he was off on an island and he could get aggressive, but I think it's more so when you bring on Spoit, he's going to be with the team and he can have that aggression and get aggressive with the team where they are really collapsing and doing very well on.
Well, with our map bans completed, we will end up on Lair for this playoff preview. M80 and Shopify go there. Foxy, what do you think of this?
I mean, it's a great matchup, and Shopify Rebellion is trying to bring it to a strong map for them, but at the same time, they don't want to show too much. So they just played Lair yesterday against Dark Zero. That's where we saw them win. It's a confident match for them. They're obviously going to be able to approach it differently based on the team that they're playing. So we're going to see a different approach as opposed to how they were trying to counter DZ and Spirits. The way that they're going to be looking at it is probably at the same way, trying to deny the utility and the info gathering from M80, because we talked about it. That's M80's strong suit right now, is how much info they bring. The Grim, the Nomad, the Gridlock, to be able to shut out so many key positions. I'm imagining that's what Shopify is going to look to deny first. And without that information, we'll have to see how M80 adapts, because they haven't had that much time or that many opponents that can deny that level of information.
Well, this is interesting, too, because we talked to Gunnar at the end. He said, going into playoffs, we're going to be able to flex our map pool. They're going into now the 7th map so far. They are the only team that went into 6 maps yesterday. Now the only team showing 7 maps. So, Gunnar, I don't really know if you just want to show your entire hand at this point. There's only 2 maps left in your pool to show off that we maybe are going to see in playoffs. But, I mean, I would say you're showing 7 out of 9 so far. You're clearly flexing your map pool going into today.
Well, hard not to pick the undefeated team here, I imagine. Do either of you think M80 can win this one?
Honestly, I mean, I definitely think there's a possibility. On a map like Lair, it's still unproven, but I would say Shopify Rebellion right now is the best Lair team currently, and they've brought so many different play styles. I mean, Ambi coming up a hatch on Amaru, they're so aggressive on attack, but they can also switch it on a dime and be slow. Their defenses are very solid as well.
Like I said, for me, Shopify, they just do so good with their tamed aggression. They know when to get aggressive. They know when to fall back. They know when to apply that pressure. They know when they just can wait out the time. So again, for me, it just has to be Shopify.
All right, Shopify trying to stay undefeated. M80 hoping to lock in that 3rd place. We'll find out what happens on Lair right now.
We certainly will. Thank you very much. We are going to be getting stuck into our 2nd game of the night here. We've got M80 versus Shopify Rebellion. A massive matchup right here. Again, all of the games tonight are so important for the standings. We've had the Pride game. We've got that one out of the way nice and early. Now we get into the real meat of the evening. This is a game to decide who is going to play Oxygen versus who is going to play that 5th/6th place team. And let me tell you, nobody wants to play Oxygen. So that 5th/6th place team is looking like a tasty little snack right now for both M80 and Shopify. Hence why we are headed to Lair, which is a super high preference map for Shopify. Is their top preference map over the stage. They've played it twice, they've won it twice, but they have never banned it once. M80 on the flip side, it is their 2nd preference, and they have played it as well. Sorry, they haven't played it, but they have banned it 2 times. So slightly different data there, but overall a very similar result. Not a map that either 2 teams have wanted to go to too much, or in Shopify's case, a map that they've been very happy to go to and teams haven't wanted to take them to it because of how dominant they have been.
So we have a Tachanka ban.
I'm listening.
Actually, if anybody is curious, there is actually a reason for that. And if you want to know, it's because I believe NJR's most played op this stage is actually Tachanka. And that's not a bit. It actually, like, I'm going to check. Unfortunately, Ollie, I have to say, my tab organization today, not ideal.
You're not tabbed up?
No, I am tabbed up, but I was also doing a lot of other things too. So there's not only more windows and more tabs than usual. I don't have the normal system, which for me and my ADHD is not good. Oh wait, NGR's also not even in this game.
I was waiting for that one. I was letting you ride it out.
5 seconds to go.
Sorry, I literally was thinking Canadian.
I wasn't going to mention it if you weren't going to mention it.
It's literally Canadian team. Sorry.
So a Chanka and a Clash.
To be fair, you can understand why my brain would go there, because I was like, oh, Tachanka. Why else would a team ban Tachanka? It must be to counterban NJR, who, to be fair, Tachanka is actually his most played op. That is true. Just to put it out there. Can you say something?
I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying it.
Don't watch me squirm.
I'm really enjoying it. So we get the Blitz and the Deimos ban. Obviously, that is going to force some sort of shield out of Hot and Cold, and his preferred method right now is going to be the BB. Just puts a bit of pressure into those rocket stairs. We've got Diffuser down below as well, ready for a catch if anyone does want to try and get aggressive. It's a very heavy ops push right now from M80. I don't think anybody has paid any attention over toward the Sky Bridge, which is a very dangerous area of the map. And if the defenders are allowed to move freely around there, it could be a little bit of a problem. Nice pocket reinforcement for Spoit. We've seen him play Bandit quite a bit this stage. And he's going to have 2 batteries in pocket as well. Now, Hard Breach is limited right now. You've got Gunner on the fuse, and he's got a couple of secondary Hard Breach gadgets, but that's about it. So on a map and on a site where Hard Breach can be quite important, I'm sort of waiting to see how M80 deal with this.
Well, the solution might just be barreling into the defense, because Diffuser and Hot and Cold are both looking over those rocket stairs. Cap It Out utility also being expended in that position. Fire will make sure that Kino can push up a little bit without having to worry about anybody counter-swinging. Rexon finding the first, though. As Shopify all fall back, the attack might fill the space, but they will do so down a player. But look at this progress M80 have made. Even without the hard breaching, they have taken control of top rocket. Their only problem is they've yet to actually find a clear entry into the site. And as you mentioned, Ollie, with very minimal hard breaching in none of these angles, their only way is barreling through these doorways. Shopify feel emboldened to peek, and finally Gunner and Diffuser both levy out some punishment. Shopify will not be able to take these fights with impunity. And instead, they will be bloodied as they try to look to put this Diffuser down. Smoke canister already placed. It's detonated the exact right moment. It forces Hot and Cold off. Loses half his HP in the process. Ambi thinks better of that flank. He'll rotate, join the rest of the team over by New Bridge, but this is going to come down to the wire. Likely in the red the moment Surf makes this play. Another smoke canister goes out, but Hot and Cold planting in an off spot gives Shopify some confusion. Gunner on low HP has an info, has a line right on this remaining player.
Oh.
But the same can be said for Ambi. In the 1v1, Shopify take the first.
I don't know who I fancy in a 1v1 Gunner versus Ambi. I feel like it's a 50-50 fight any day of the week. I'm looking at that thinking, I don't know which player I'm backing right now.
So
Gunner's got low HP. Ambi's got the advantage of the swing. Nailbiter. Super close round 1. We can kind of forgive M80, like, and there's nothing to forgive, but like I kind of question the lack of hard breach. They seem to have everything that they needed. The only thing that they didn't have was that extra man. They lost that opening pick. Spoit got punished. The smokes were really good. The cover was even better. But Ambi wins it on the swing right at the end. I think it's a good attack from M80. I really like it. It seems very lean in the sense that they're bringing a lot and everything's accounted for. Like if those 2 can openers don't do their job, it's a bust. But it's a very high likelihood of them being able to do their job. Gunner was playing the fuse and he was watching the peak on the Skybridge for felt like the majority of the round until he transitioned as soon as Hot and Cold was ready to come in with the diffuser. It was a good attack.
5 seconds left before insertion.
You could sit there and say it was maybe a little bit one-dimensional. They didn't have that pressure to catch the players that were rotating deeper into the site and players like Canadian who were then able to smoke it out, but
They still
I
recovered
kind of like it. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. Downstairs we go, though. Shopify successful there off the back of Ambi's gun skill.
Ooh. Speaking of gun skill, check it out. Look at this. 1 drone down.
What, Canadian on the Malusi?
It's funny, by the way, that you call the proximity alarms wub-wubs, because that's what I always heard people call the banshees. And we call the proximity alarms beep-boops. Or beeper. No, beepers to call it. We call it like beep-boops.
Oh.
I don't know if that's like a European or a British thing you call the proxy wub-wubs, but... Because the banshees have like a bit of a lower tone. That's why we call them Lobos. Anyway, Canadian is on the Malusi. It's currently a problem for Kino, so he tries to make his way down the stairs, but thankfully Diffuser will just shoot that down. Hot and Cold finding, well, the Malusi early on. But look at this quick flank. Look at this action. 3v3 already in a matter of seconds, and only a minute into the round. I was about to say the defense has control of the Diffuser, but they might feel compelled to back off, especially with Ambi on low HP. Rexen might want to bolster up the site. And that is indeed what Shopify decided to do. They have caused some immense problems, to be sure. It might be 2 shields, but Hot and Cold's gone down to the Blackbeard. Likely the more aggressive of the 2 options. And the most important thing, your buck on the basement attack has been removed from the field.
It's a great position that Shopify find themselves in now. You can see cameras still getting flicked by both Canadian and Spoit. There are still black eye cameras out there, one inside a mezzanine. C4's starting to get used. Still one. Been pre-placed, and there it is. Ambi. He's going to collect onto Gunner. That's the win condition. Drop down, utilize the utility. Ambi's on super low HP, but so's Kino. And a Monty on low HP is borderline useless. He might attempt to try and drop the hatch. He's got the kit, but there's no way he's going to be able to get that down. A lick of damage and he'll be out of the picture. Diffuser rotating through upstairs. Again, might get caught on this black eye camera.
But
so really, Shopify Rebellion, they just need to wait this out. They've got 40 seconds pretty much to chill.
Exactly, and you can see that's what they're doing. They've pulled all the way back. They're even ceding control of the B site. Smoke canister goes out. This could be a nice and powerful angle from Diffuser, as nobody's actually rotated in just yet. But right as I say that, Rexen and Ambi spring the trap, give Shopify their second. Playing passive indeed. Know that they have the advantage and know that a good game plan is to let M80 walk into the site, because if they want to put that Diffuser down, you know that's 1 gun against 3, and you've got, by far and away, the better positioning to make that happen. 2 in a row for Shopify. Quite nice on their highest preference map of the stage, the one that they beat Dark Zero on just 24 hours ago. Not even that, like 22 hours ago. To become the only flawless team inside of the NAL group stage.
Overtime win.
Overtime win.
It's criminal, isn't it? Their team can get 1 overtime win, and people will still, well, actually.
And hey, you know what, to be fair, it's also, we got to say, could be possible that they're not flawless after today. And maybe have had some close rounds so far.
It's only 2 rounds, right?
Only 2 rounds. And hey, Lair, as we've seen teams get a hold of Lair, sometimes we see a little bit more attacking, success. It's not fall of 2024 anymore. This map's been around for almost a year.
There's always the generational timeout as well. Never know what that might bring.
The what?
The generational timeout that Fabian will give.
How is it generational? Just because he's gonna be like.
Because we got to listen into one timeout one time 2 years ago, and it was good.
He's like Ned Beatty in Network. He's like, you have messed with the primal forces. Sorry.
So we've seen a little bit of Lair this stage so far, and I always feel like this is a site that teams have struggled to get a good handle on how to attack. So I'm really looking forward to watching M80 attack it, because their attacks so far have been good. The last one maybe not so much, but first round was good. And overall during the stage they've had some good attacking rounds. Now, my preferred route is always to clear this top floor. Open up the external wall really quickly. That's a tick in a box. We've already done that. Now it's about clearing this top floor. And if you look at the tools that they've got for it, they've got the Monty, which they can start to bully with. They got an opening pick there from Kino. A great find onto Mute. That could be a reason to go, because you do have the smokes, but you don't have a Capitao.
Ollie,
Look at Hot and Cold's positioning right now. He's posturing.
He is posturing, but this is what I was going to say. We have seen a lot of teams struggle with this attack, and one problem I found is teams can get stuck here. They don't clear out the top floor. They instead try to contain it, but then they just end up getting pinched from the very roamers on top of green stairs. There also are still vertical angles in play because they've not fully taken care of that top floor. They have the smokes for it. They've got the glass. We've seen M80 do this kind of strat before on Consulate, where they just throw a smoke canister down, put the glass in it, and then look up and take the fight on the vertical players that way. But that itself can be kind of risky. Those smokes do not block bullets. Those ROU projectors, the same thing. Bullets can sail through there, and even if they weren't intended, they can land right into you and throw the round completely out of whack. Hot and Cold, again, posturing at this single door as M80 have spent a long time resetting, making eye contact with that player upstairs. But for so long, they feel concerned about this. Their control on the top floor is tenuous at best, but there go the smokes, and it works. Gunnar takes the fight through the vert, finds one, but there is another looking to try and get aggressive. The utility going through will burn a lot of HP off Hot and Cold and Gunnar. Another C4-2 thrown out, though it mets a lot less impact. Final smoke goes out in the different spot, and they trade. Gunnar no longer covering, Monty instead protecting. They just find a bit of an angle, but that SMG-11 bounces too much when that angle is so tight. M80 not only bring back the man count, but bring us into the post with a 5v3 advantage. Exploit drops down, 30 seconds remaining. Might not have been spotted on that drone, but everyone from the attack has fallen back to their positions. So the defense tries to mount this retake. The Monty sits on the diffuser like a mother hen and has 4 guns. Watching to catch anybody that takes the bait and tries to steal this prize. Kino with a long angle. Shuts down Canadian with the 417. It is an easy trade for M80. 5v3 to 4v1 to their first attacking win on Lair.
And that's how you do it. We haven't seen teams successfully not take the top floor. You don't have to take the top floor, but you have to have good plan A, B, and C for as soon as you start to try and bait that out. M80 spent a long time at the doorway knocking onto site. We could see that Hot and Cold was posturing there from around a minute 20 left. They spent the time, got breaches open. They had plenty of smokes, plenty of ROU projectors, loads of opportunity to bait things out. Smoke canister was nearly perfect. It did a lot to remove Gunnar and Hot and Cold's HP, and Gunnar did actually take a couple of shots, a couple of kisses from the SMG-11, but fortunately, he'd managed to get out of the Toxic Babe a little bit earlier on and just had enough to tank it to get that plant down. And holding it at that point, I mean, it's pretty much GG. You've got the Monty. You can commit one player to the site. You can commit one player outside to the window watching the stairs. Very straightforward after that plant has gone down. M80 tasting a little bit of success here on Lair in round number 3. And we now move into round number 4. Some notable bans coming out here. The Smoke has been removed. Smoke, a real key player in the previous attempt at this site, back in round number 1. And now with that and a Tachanka removed, your area denial is significantly hurt. The Glaz as the response from Shopify. Gunnar has been putting that thing to pretty good work, but it's been a bit of a one-trick pony sort of thing. We saw it brought in round 1, it didn't have the desired effect. Saw it brought in round 3, it had a big impact, but I don't think it's going to hurt M80 as much as the smoke ban will hurt Shopify.
The smoke ban is definitely more impactful, but M80 have shown consistently, so much so that other teams have actually banned the Glaz against them too, that if they are attacking a site in which top-down vertical is important and the defense is holding vertical holes from top to a floor below to deny the plant, their main counter, more often than not, is the Glaz on multiple maps and multiple sites within those maps. Even if it's not a mainstay of their setup, it is an option that they fall back on, and it's a secondary protocol they use pretty frequently. So I think that's Shopify not only seeing that that's the main reason they won that previous round, but also this is a crutch they often use. Hot and Cold almost needing crutches after a volley of shots sent down that hallway. Yet Surf kind of peeking a little sleepy on that angle on Bridge. Hot and Cold stunned somehow takes down the Legion. And M80 2 rounds in a row start out with an opening pick, have that 5v4, and might have just contained this second Shopify defender. You see one player crouched on the top of green as 3 different players all look to take him down. TCSG close. Hot and Cold will creep around the corner. Gotta be careful. The Banshee triggered. Oh, it's not the TCSG, it's the Supernova. Could easily become a problem as the C4 goes out. Canadian tries to land the finishing blow. It does not work. He's playing with fire here. He's got to be careful.
You don't want to be peeking Hot and Cold. Not in stage 2. 12th rated player in the entire league. This guy is quite literally hot, not cold. Gunner, great shot over onto Rexon. Very different attack this time from M80. Last time it was all upside. This time it is coming from that sky bridge. They're going to get the wall open. We've got 45 seconds now. They've already taken one yokai out. One of the Selmas will get destroyed. That second one likely going to go off. There's nothing really that the defenders have got to stop that from happening. Canadian's got a great line of sight onto the breach, and Ambi playing tucked in the bomb side, but Gaveni below could be a bit of a problem. He's going to be able to disrupt these players.
Ooh, Ollie.
The kit's in the hands of Gunner.
It's in the hands of Gunner, but it also looked like there might have been a line on that breach. I'm not entirely sure they can hop through. No, they can't. So if Gunner wants to try and hop in this breach, he's got to give the diffuser to somebody else. And Shopify, whether they realize this or not, they've got a lot of kills, but still in the 1v2. Gunner sprints in. Oh, they don't know. They rotate to the other site. They're being safe to be sure. But Kino's got to be aware of this. He hears the sprint. They know Valkyrie's position now, so as Andy peeks out, he doesn't react in time. Gunner falls off and lands right in the shots of that MPX. 2 1vx's for Ambi, both in our 6 room. That rookie is not so young anymore.
Now that's a round that M80 shouldn't be losing, and I wouldn't be surprised if that triggered a timeout. Now, I think that Gaveni got really unlucky below, because he just got absolutely domed. Ideally, he gets more opportunity to disrupt the defenders below, but I don't think that there was enough happening at the same time. It was just a little bit disjointed between... And part of it's the breach, right? There it is, the timeout. Not a surprise.
Generational.
Part of the problem there was the way that the breach opened. Now, that's just the game. Like, if that's the risk you run when you Selma open a wall. The first Selma gets destroyed, and then you've got to be super accurate with that next Selma if you're going to try and explode it above to give yourself something that you can just hop through. And you've not really got any options, because if you just throw it at the completed part of it, in this case, the completed part of the wall was electrified, but if you throw it at the completed part of the wall, you're just going to get something that, again, you can hop through, but it isn't where you wanted it to be. You want it there for a reason. It's better entry into the site. You've got less vulnerability. You can't be seen from the room further back that Canadian was occupying. So just a bit of unfortunateness there. But that being said, also something that M80 should be able to navigate and work around.
You would hope so. I mean, a lot of it does come down to that breach, and also, as you said, Gavini getting a bit unlucky on that vert, though. Look at that. I feel like those verts...
This is the thing, right? Ambi gets 2 kills from there, then gets another 2.
Yeah. And it was still a 1v2.
Where could he have been? They should have known exactly where he was, because 2 people have just died to him.
Well, to defend Kino a little bit, you did see that they had a feeling where he was, but Kino was looking at the double door instead of the rotate. So he did hear Ambi sprint over in that direction in particular, so I can sympathize with Kino a little bit. He was looking the same general direction. It's also understandable why you would look at the double door. He's going to come through 2 places, and
10 seconds left.
if you're in that moment, again, I'm not a player, but if I'm in that moment and I'm thinking about what position to watch, just logically, a doorway seems like the more obvious position to me, as opposed to a rotate hole, because one is a door and the other is just a hole in the wall that can sometimes kind of slip into the background of all the things you're looking, all the information you're considering. You're like, okay, I know people can come through doorways. I might not know the exact location of a rotate hole. So I think Kino was looking the right way, but he just maybe got unlucky on the actual position. You can disagree about you. I mean, generally, anybody can. Feel free. But also, just those... We've talked about this a couple times just over the course of the NAL. Those vertical angles can be so difficult. Like, you might be in a perfectly fine spot, but for some reason, it just feels like you as the attacker might not be able to see a single bit of the defender, and then you look at the kill cam, it's like, oh my god, they can see all of me.
I can just see my head.
Like, sick. Awesome.
It's one of the downsides of going down to up as well, is that the defenders have a better angle onto your head, and one-shot headshots, like, that's all you need.
It's just it's a risky take.
It is. Timeout has been called. Don't know if it's going to do anything to slow Ambi down, though. He's 9-1 right now. I know he had a pop-off, but it's a serious pop-off right there.
This was a strat they ran in the Cruelty game. Ambi on the Scopos on the top floor and teleport back to the bottom. Also, to be fair, not something unique to Shopify. We've seen a Scopos make this kind of play before. Ooh, but Rexon spotted immediately. We've got the Scopos up top and a couple players hovering around this mid floor, and M80 clearly ready for that. Just use the Monty, immediately walk in, shut one down. Spoit holding this close angle. with the FO12. A really terrifying gun at times. It's a super heavy mid-floor hold from Shopify.
I am a bit surprised that M80 haven't read into this and gone for something a little bit more direct. But they've not done badly so far. They've taken good map control. Now see them pivot in for something a little bit different.
Oh, that's rough.
That's really unfortunate from Hot and Cold. That's his last shock drone as well, unless he's got one out there somewhere, but I doubt it at this point. Have Shopify Rebellion been allowed to just rotate back? We've still got Ambi in a great position right now. Good penny. He's going to fall again. Spoit is there for a little bit of assistance as well. I mean, Spoit and Ambi can probably just play up there for the majority of the round at this point.
Ooh, but M80 seem to just be sending it. Diffuser finds Surf on the site. Only Canadian close. Ambi gets one, but he's traded out, so advantage remains M80. 2 shotguns at close angles, though, might be a problem. Spoit might be holding the pistol, but given how strong of a player he can be, he might be favored depending on the type of gunfight he picks. But M80 will continue pushing forward. C4 goes out. It doesn't hit a single player, and Canadian loses his life, too. M80 see that top floor hold. They immediately hit the site, and another successful plant. Their only victory so far was closed out once that diffuser was planted. And Spoit only has a pistol to take these long-range fights. Yeah, my odds are on M80 every day of the week.
M80 did a fantastic job there of rotating mid-portion of the round, recognizing this is a really extended hold and they are very committed to it. The site was pretty light in terms of utility. There was a bit knocking around, don't get me wrong. There was some Vulcan packs. But realistically, they were happy to roll the dice and push in, and off the back of diffuser, marching forward and picking himself up a couple of really nice kills. I don't think that there's anything that you can complain about right there. One of those occasions where Spoit played the FO12 for a really specific spot and it just doesn't come off, and then he's left in the clutch and he's got the pistol. And you're just a bit like, this... It's just one of those really unfortunate moments where what you cooked could have been really good, but it just didn't happen, so you just get left with a pistol in the clutch. Not to say you would have won if you'd have had the Scorpion, but you may have had a better chance, but he's still going up against a Monty and 2 guns.
It is funny, when they did play that strat against Cruelty, he was playing a Vigil. I don't know if he had the Boss G or not, I can't remember that much, but
10 seconds to go.
he had at least 2 better long-range weapons, or 1 really good rapid-fire weapon with the SMG-12 and either the Boss G or the K1A. Probably the Boss G.
Attackers must
So it is interesting, they did make that change, and he's sitting there like, maybe you should have brought the Vigil. Could have been nice. Really gonna see a different round here, though. M80's first victory came on this site, but a lot of it was off the back of, instead of actually dealing with the vert, reconciling with what Shopify were bringing, they said, okay, we'll kind of accept it, and we'll just deal with one small portion by throwing down a glass, sitting in the smoke, taking a fight with you if you decide to peek. Obviously, Shopify banned the glass, so it will have to be a fundamentally different approach for M80, given the role that operator played in that particular iteration of the attack.
Gavini going to make short work of some of Ambi's castle barricades. This time rocking castle and not the Valkyrie. I'm sure he'll still have a very similar effect. Hot and Cold, confident as ever. Looking to try and make a bit of an impact here. He's just in ops room at the moment. Not got too much to worry about right now. Can start to drone in and figure out what exactly is coming ahead of them. I don't think he's going to be able to get through that, unfortunately. Oh, Kino managed.
I'm changing mags.
That's a little dodgy. You could even see Kino stuttering a little bit. Ollie, I'm not shocked to see the full clear given the glass ban, though.
No, I think the full clear is the way to go, isn't it? You know, and to be honest, do you get away with just a half clear twice? Probably not. Look how invested SR are right now on this top floor. They've even brought the Warden. So the glass has been banned, but they still are so confident that there's going to be some sort of smoke play from M80 and trying to get that plan down. Like, nah, we're not risking this. We're just going to bring the Warden. Yeah, or we bring the Ying to fortify the full clear a little bit as well. Multiple different options. Just a bit of a pivot, though.
Ooh.
Hot and Cold knocking on the door of the site right now, but it's still just a portion where you're going to get vert on. So I don't really see how this is going to work.
I'm really concerned for M80, to be honest. I mean, I mentioned that they can fall back on that glass sometime to circumvent dealing with the vert, but it really is seeming like this is something that they struggle with. 2 rounds now where they've just not dealt with it. Now, without that bit of utility, Gunner will move in, go for the backstab by Green, just spotted by that Azami, though, and they're just walking into the firing line. It is a complete annihilation of M80. Shopify end the half with a flawless round. Basically off the back of one op ban.
I'm really surprised from M80 there. I thought we were going to see like a very comprehensive full clear through operation. And they kind of got halfway. And we're just a bit like, oh, we'll pivot. We'll just pivot. We'll just go for a horizontal take and try and transition this into a half clear. It just really didn't work. I don't know what the call was, because it looked like a full clear. So I don't know what changed from it being a full clear to it going then to be a half clear. Just seems a little bit strange from M80, and Shopify are going to be very happy with that. I think you think back to the couple rounds that M80 won. Now, we've had some really close rounds in that first half. So I don't feel as though this scoreline is too outrageous. It could probably even be a little bit more outrageous.
Could be 4-2
if we wanted it to be. There's been some big clutches from Ambi. And likewise, Gunner and Diffuser, they've both had a couple of moments as well, so... It's the flawless rounds, isn't it, that really sort of cement it.
Yeah. And also, I think that M80 have shown to be like quite a very good, competent team, but I think it is rounds like that and sites like that and attacks like that that show that they are still figuring things out and they are a beatable team and do have issues kind of problem solving in that way. Because, I mean, like they bring all these ops, right? They bring what?
10 seconds to insertion.
What's his name? Bring the Grim. Can't believe I forgot Grim. Bring the Grim, the Dokkaebi, Blackbeard. We got all of the right tools, but then it's just this weird misshapen simulacrum of a full clear. And we've seen similar problems on the Consulate game against SSG, right? A game that, in all honesty, they probably should have lost. But that came down to big clutch moments, including one big 1v3 from Hot and Cold, who we're looking at right now. M80 are not without their faults. And ironically, I'm saying that when, like Ollie just mentioned, that could have been a different half for M80 if Ambi doesn't clutch 2 1v2s on the same site. And in fact, a lot of those rounds came down to really good mid-rounding from M80. But it still might come down to popping off depending how Shopify look on these attacks. And, well, let me tell you, they looked solid. They looked pretty good yesterday.
If we could stop the game right now, I'd be very happy. Because Ambi is currently on 246 EPS. He's my fantasy pick.
Oh, shut up.
He's in my team.
Shut up.
So whatever happens this night, I don't care who wins, but as long as Ambi can do well, that's all that matters to me.
You might actually overtake me depending on...
No, seriously, if Ambi continues, like, it's a very big possibility. 2 Vulcan packs with 1 Flores Rotero. That's value right there.
This boy taking out the Azami, that's value right there.
I like the mirror setup. Pretty old school, though. You don't see this mirror setup too often. Especially when you leave half of the bridge, the wall that faces bridge off. Seems like a little bit of a vulnerability there, but I guess the SR haven't really got too much to deal with it at range. They've got the Rotero, but that's been destined for other things. Canadian starting to feed that information across, and Surf is going to hop in. ROU's about to get sent out as well. It's always a good indicator that something's about to kick off. And more Rotero's getting sent in there. That's a bit more of an information gathering one. Might get a little bit of sight util, but it's a very difficult position now that Hot and Cold finds himself in.
Oh, yeah. That's the problem with this Miraz. He's stuck in a fortress and a prison of his own making. EMPs go out, so do the can openers. Canadian acquiring control of Top Rocket, just slipping up through that barbed wire earlier as part of what kicked this whole sequence of events off. Diffuser with a nice find, almost a second. That Vector is a bit of a difficult gun at long range. We can forgive him for that one. There's more work to be done. 30 seconds to go. Utility going back and forth, traded. 2 more toxic canisters for Kino. We saw Hot and Cold evade this with an off-plant spot. Can Canadian do the same? Behind the desk, is this anticipated? ROU projector in the way to shield that information from the defense, and it works out perfectly. 2 more kills fly Shopify's way. They've dotted their I's and crossed their T's, and all that is left is the punctuation. 5-2. Good attacks yesterday, and they have not broken stride against M80.
What a beautiful attack there we've just seen from SR. Canadian leading the charge on the Monty. Sneaking his way up rocket stairs, gathering that information. I mean, the path was set for him, don't forget. The Rotero drone on the Flores, that came through, removed both of the Vulcan canisters, placing 2 Vulcan canisters there. A little bit of a risky one because that's just a magnet for some utility. A nade, a Flores drone, whatever it might be. It's a very rare occasion where you're going to get to detonate one and then the other. It seemed a little bit misplaced in some ways. Diffuser tried his best, but there was no real way of stopping that plant from going down. No C4, no util. Smokes, baited by the off-plant spot, the Rotero. Oh, sorry, the ROU projector providing a fantastic shield. It's something that SR do really well. I think that their use of things like Sens and Rora particularly, it feels like it's a step ahead, right? Everyone knows like a cheesy Rora strat or a cheesy Sens strat, but they're able to implement it into just everyday rounds, and the impact and the reward is just, it's huge.
You know what I liked? Ollie, it's something you said either last broadcast or a couple broadcasts ago, is we were describing the difference between DZ and Shopify, and you said that like DZ are like obviously like playing really well and playing as a team really well, but it feels like Shopify are playing the meta really well and innovating. And that's what I feel about Shopify, and that's what I still think that you said that really resonates with me, is they feel like the most innovative team right now that is not only like, a lot of people are thinking about ways to use the Sens. I mean, go back to that Cruelty game when you see an ROU projector used to block off a window. We've seen that in Brazil too. When it comes to like implementing these operators successfully and in ways that feel not only new, but also impactful and valuable, Sens and Roar, like you said, Shopify is the team I go to. 100%.
It's the way that they win the round with it, and it fits in, like, it looks fairly seemless. Do you know what I mean?
With their playstyle, especially.
Yeah, you never sort of sat there going, oh, it'd be nice if they had this, or it'd be nice if they had that. Like, I've very rarely got a question about the lineup that SR are bringing, because I feel like they whatever they're doing, they just understand. They understand the game at a bit of a different level right now, and I think that that's fair to see.
You'd hope with, you know, Super on the staff and Canadian, the IGL, like that partnership, which obviously, you know, is almost a year old at this point. You want to see that work out, and you want to see this kind of innovation come from those legendary figures inside of NA. A lot of utility goes out, and as we're praising that, one important piece of it, the glass goes down. Canadian, the Monty, burned up. That's why you always have to be careful when you throw out the praise on broadcast, because an attack can go awry very, very quickly. Ambi has made it to top rocket, though. We are repeating an R6 room defense, and that might just be a bit of a prophylactic Shumika. They might not know Ambi's there.
Yeah, this is our bad, guys. Sorry.
They could bring it back.
We were firmly aboard the SR train for a moment or two right there, and maybe have just gotten a little bit carried away, but still doable. You look at what they've got.
Ooh.
50 seconds. Downed Gaveni.
Oh.
But another down on the way in. That Shumika is lethal. You just can't walk through that window.
Ooh, Spoit sees one. Tachanka re-peaks. Oh, Hot and Cold is flirting with it. They're worried about picking up Gunner because of how close he is. Oh, and he's also on the opposite side of the wall. That's probably the bigger detail. Thought he might be in the site. So Spoit gets the freebie, but every single bit of utility is dumped into that one tiny room. Shumika's and Smokes propagate and force Spoit out. Now, everyone from M80 is playing passive. There's no flirting with a gunfight that Hot and Cold did earlier. They've already lost 2 rounds on R6 to Ambi clutching. They're not about to give away a third to Spoit, let alone on the opposite side. First round for M80 on the second half, looking to recover from their deficit.
Love that from Hot and Cold. Let's put Spoit back in a box. Says, you know what? I'm 12th rated in the league right now. Spoit, you might be 8th, but I can still take you in a gunfight. A much needed round there for M80. And a bit of a blip, let's be honest, for SR. Fall into a fairly, I don't want to say an old trick, but a fairly basic trick. Just firing off a window that's being hopped in, and then players can't go forward because they're going to get shot. Can't go back out the window because if they turn the back, they're probably going to get shot. Was it that he got Azami'd out? Did he get Azami'd in or something like that? Saw like a Kiba barricade there. Maybe he got Azami'd into a spot, and that's where the flames were getting him from. But either way, around the M80 desperately needed. They used their tactical timeout fairly early on into the fixture.
He got Azami'd in.
Yeah, I thought he might have done. Nowhere really to go.
5 seconds left before insertion.
For M80, there's nobody to help them right now but themselves. Can't lean into that coach tactical timeout. They have got to find the answer right now. Currently trail by 2. That last round should give them a little bit of confidence. Diffuser clearly feeling himself going onto the scope post this time.
Ooh,
nice opener
himself.
from Gunner. Spoit deleted. And with it, the Brava.
Yeah. No, obviously, you know, not worrying about losing that BP is nice. But I think you are going to feel even better knowing that those Banshees will have to be triggered to be destroyed by the attacking team. I mean, obviously, Rexon could throw some nades. That is true. But these shock drones and these nades as a secondary are going to want to focus on these Vulcan packs. We saw how big a problem fire can be if you let it spread. Let M80 detonate the utility in the positions they want. Now as Ambi's lost one, only at the cost of 1 Vulcan pack. Those clutch drones would have been a very, very easy and clean way to take down that hot and cold's utility, and now it just won't be the case. And also, just got to be honest, 4v5, we saw Spoit literally end a game unilaterally yesterday when it seemed Shopify were, or sorry, 2 days ago when Shopify were on the run. So him not being a factor in the round is always a sigh of relief for the team that gets it.
Pretty quiet in this fixture, though. 4 and 7. He hasn't been required to do much of the heavy lifting so far, with Ambi on a bit of a pop-off. But provided it remains that way for this round, Shopify might not be too far behind. But they do still lack a bit of a piece of the puzzle in terms of that util clear. Canadian going to send some bees in now and see if he can gather any information, force some defenders out of the small connector room. Nice nade there. Surely it gets the Goyo to move, but shots missed there from Surf. It's one of the curses of the DMR. Diffuser, he's not slowed down. Taking out the star player of Ambi, and very quickly we're left in a 4v2.
I'll make that a 4v1. Diffuser teleported back to the site, and he is pissed about it. Canadian might get his first. Ooh, won't even be that. All for the ego. Diffuser there. Nice little quick peek onto the IGL of Shopify, and putting together a couple clean rounds when they need it. Could be match point right now if Ambi had not decided to be the boss of our 6-room defenses. But M80 have still closed the gap very nicely. Shopify not even taking their tactical timeout yet, but it is 5-4. And oftentimes, Ali, will see the op ban phase transpire, and then a team will hit the pause button.
Yeah. It'll be after the bans, I'm pretty sure.
They also might not.
Also might not. They might be saving it for the 5-5.
I would also, you know, if I'm going to trust anybody to, you know, figure out the team's issues in round, it would be Canadian. Probably a bit of a coach's dream.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the advantages that Shopify have got, right? They've got that wealth of experience that they can draw on, and Canadian can really give a bit of a timeout himself almost in between rounds. Try and steady the ship and, like you say, figure it out themselves. Get some really interesting bans now. We've actually managed to force a sense ban out of M80.
I love it.
Just goes to show how much of a problem it's been for them so far. Shopify going to respond with an Azami ban of their own. And the Azami ban's fine. I don't think that there's anything really that Shopify need to ban particularly. It can be much more of a comfort thing at this point. The last couple of rounds have really been picked apart from sort of poor openings. And I think that regardless of the strategy on the side of SR, if they can't get that initial foothold, a problem does start, doesn't it? You know, you saw Spoit get lost early in the previous round, and I'm not saying it spiraled from there, but it sort of careered off course quite quickly.
And it's also, I mean, a bit of a flip side, but M80 got the opening pick 4 rounds on attack, and they only came out with 2. They'd get the opening pick, and things would spiral for them as well. So it's a trend you got to be worried about, because especially if M80 are getting the opening pick on defense, they can just fall back. They can just completely pull back to site and play the setup. In this particular case, we do have Gunnar roaming around the building as the Valkyrie. Nice little brief mute jammer, but it will... The exothermic will open the wall nonetheless. Seemingly might be one of the only people on site, and typically we do see a lot of vertical play on these middle floor bomb sites on lair, as we've just seen from Shopify's lineup. The question is, Ollie, will it be a direct green stairs take, or, well, direct take on the site, or will they actually try to deal with it?
Pretty uncertain, isn't it? Enemy detected outside.
Gunnar. Having a really good game, by the way. Player, we wanted to see more from.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a few players on M80 that we'd like to see a bit more from, right? Diffuser and Hot and Cold leading the charge in the rankings. There's a lot of room for Gunnar and Code to get up there. Great shot from Ambi. That's my fantasy pick right there. Opening pick. Diffuser down. Could be Skybridge control. Who knows? There's drones working ahead of him.
Okay.
Surf. He's going to double down. A kill over onto Gunnar. He's looking much better from Shopify so far. It's the first time they've had a good lead in a while on these attacks.
A healthy lead, too. Good and healthy. 2 players on both sides get caught lacking. Kino swings out of the site. Makes the man advantage narrower in an incredibly important position. Shopify just 1 round away from match point. And if M80 has to choose between facing OXG and facing some combination of Cloud9 or LFO or Wildcard, clutching this round will give them some security. There's still this vertical, though. Hot and Cold looking down has taken up Spoit. Ambi quite low, too. It might all be left to the Legion, and he drops down. Ambi's watching. 6-4. No vertical required. They force the defense down, force them back, and force M80 out of round 10.
That's my fantasy pick right there, Ambi. Keep it up.
Shut up! No! Stop rubbing in my face.
The best thing is I'm 1 point behind Lynx. So for anyone that's been watching any of the content that Jesse J. Chick has been putting on for us, he has run a little fantasy league for stage 2. I'm 1 point behind Lynx right now. And I just got a feeling I might do it.
I need the Panva stimmy today.
You need a serious Pamba game.
I need the Panva stimulus package.
So we were questioning when this timeout would come. And SRF choose to use it at the crucial moment. Map point for them right now. Steady the nerve. Come up with a very clear and concise plan of how they are going to execute what could be the final round here tonight. Just to remind everybody of the stakes in this game. Currently, as the standings sit, SR are first in the league. They beat Dark Zero yesterday, and will have a head-to-head on Dark Zero as well. They're on 23 points. M80, 17. There is no way that M80 can get up into second place, but there is a way that they can not play either Oxygen or the 5th place team. And that's essentially what we're fighting for right now. We don't know who that 5th place team is just yet.
And, let's be fair, Shopify would also solidify first.
Yes. Due to them having the head-to-head over DZ, regardless of the DZ game, it would be impossible.
Which would obviously be quite nice for Shopify. Obviously, they are our reigning NAL champs. If you did not watch last stage, it was a barn burner. 45-round game in a best-of-3 that Shopify, then Sonics, ended up taking over Dark Zero. Dark Zero got first in the group stage. Sonics got third. But Dark Zero ended up coming second. So this would be Shopify's first time in a little bit. I actually don't know the last time they've been first. It wasn't stage 1. Might have been... actually, I don't know if Shopify ever ended the group stage first in the NA League. So this would be the first time, I think.
Kind of a feels bad for DZ because they've been first for so long throughout the stage. But it does just go to show it doesn't matter until you play whoever is in that sort of spot that's fighting for it. Until you play that second place team, you never really know. And the way that the games have been scheduled this time for NA, it has been a little bit, although we've been waiting for some of the better games to happen in this last playday, which I don't mind. I think it builds up to the hype perfectly. And I would say that this playday in particular has some of the most important games. You've got some of the most well-matched teams going against each other today. That's exactly what we want here. Feels like good progress for SR so far.
It's decent. I don't think Canadian's going to find that same gap on rocket stairs like he did before.
I mean, I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a look just to see. Might be something else that SR have to do to facilitate that gap. It might not be just as simple as walking up it this time. Hot and Cold on the Shumika is not going to be shy with them either. He's going to be sending them out nice and early. Further that you can keep SR away from your door, the better. And especially the longer you can do that too. And he's got plenty of opportunity right now. Rexon was trying to move in and get a plant down, but he's going to have a long night if he's going to try and bait out the remaining utility. Hot and Cold must have around 15 left. 16 there as another one gets sent out. But bang, the kill comes in from Spoit, and that could be the trigger.
I swear, there are many rounds so far this stage where you have basically bought them by picking up Spoit, and that might just be one. A really rough-looking plant spot because of that Tachanka, and he just gets hit by a shot from downrange, but there is still a lot of utility. You gotta commend Shopify, I will say, by at least trying to go for the plant this early, because this is what you have to do. Against those Shumikas and those toxic canisters, you have to bait out the utility. But because that Tachankas go down, it's just 10 more seconds, and that is now gone. Canadians looking where to put this case on the floor. Diffuser looking out the breach, one player prone, trying to cover the Monty as best they can. That's an awkward gunfight for everybody involved, but Rexon in particular sat waiting for the Vector to layer his body with shots, and it's all over! In one fell swoop, Gunner tries to hit the flank. He gets one for his troubles, but Shopify get control of the site. It is a bait and switch, and M80 fall into the trap. Shopify take first place in the group stage and are your top team heading into playoffs.
A big win there for SR. You can see just exactly how much it means to the players. Spoit happy in the celebrations. A bit more subdued maybe from the likes of Rexon and Surf, but they've just got to sit and listen to him as he yells. A big game, make no mistake. One of the biggest we have here today. There's still plenty more coming up. But what a win for SR. Their attacks, very well coordinated. To be honest, I'm gobsmacked that Monty wasn't banned. I think that's something you've got to remove against Canadian. I don't know if it's going to get spoken about on the desk. Maybe. We'll find out in just a few.
Careful long, there's still a guy long.
On me, I
Clear
can
still
get
tables.
Warden dead,
Let's get long, let's get long.
I'm planning desk.
Get out, you gotta get out.
Cover
I'm
security,
rolling.
cover security. 50, 75. Let me play the post after.
Let's go.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
9-0, baby! That's why we own the fucking league!
Good job, guys. That's what we call
Good
coach
job,
stiff.
guys.
Coach
Little
stiff.
20 bomb?
That was
Little
one of the
20?
Shopify Rebellion undefeated on the group stage. Clearly excited about that one. A victory that means a good bit to them. So we'll welcome in Spoit, the man you just saw reacting just like that. A big win, Spoit. Congratulations on closing out the stage undefeated. You took down Dark Zero yesterday, M80 today. Looking back on this stage, I mean, what is that like to go flawless?
I mean, this is the first time like I managed to go like 9-0 in the regular season, which is like crazy. I mean, I think the league is like hella stacked, and I think we did we had good game plan today as well against what's it called, M80, and yeah, I'm just overall happy. I don't know what to say, so yeah.
Yeah, no, obviously. I mean, I think we're all sitting on the desk. We're all assuming that you guys are going to make the next event. That being said, once it comes to that event, I know you've previously had that experience of lifting a trophy yourself. what are the main goals for you guys to keep it going through the best of threes, but also once you get to LAN?
I think, you know, depending on how the results go, I don't want to jinx anything on the playoffs, but, you know, if we do qualify, we're going to have like a little boot camp going into the Esports World Cup, right? So, you know, we get to see each other face to face, because right now and throughout the stage, it's just been me and Troy here at the SR facility. But yeah, we just take it game by game. I know we are more comfy in a best of 3 as well. You know, we can like grow into the match more, all the adaptants, all that stuff. So yeah, just taking it game by game.
Well, Spoit, congratulations. You said it yourself, your first 9-0 for you. I kind of want to focus on you and talk about, you know, your transition now, being with Shopify, being with Shopify, and having the success that you've been having, and obviously even going back to M80, where you guys weren't struggling, you weren't finding that success, especially internationally. But again, just to sum everything up, I mean, how have you been feeling as a whole, as an individual?
You know, I was on M80 for like, what, 2 years?
Yeah.
And now, you know, I got the chance to team with Troy, which is like a childhood dream. I mean, he's one of the goats of the game. So it's just me, you know, coming into the stage, learning, you know, how the team operates, the system they like to play, how to play with each other, the chemistry, the communication, all that stuff. So I'm just getting used to the team, and I'm getting comfy. And yeah, I don't think I've ever been on a team with such nasty individuals. Like, dude, I think Richie, Dame, and Amber are all like plus 30.
I mean, Amber dropped 20 that last game. That was
20 and
so
5.
I think Amber's on like what, 45, closing 50 at this point. Like, dude, what? Like, I don't get it.
I mean,
I don't get it, bro.
You mentioned one of the goats of the game, Canadian, but what about having like a coach like Super behind you? You're not going to add him to the GOAT list?
Oh, I mean, of course, Seth.
He just turned 19.
He did. Actually 20, almost. But yeah, no, Seth is hilarious. I think he has a good mind for the game. What I really like about Seth is he doesn't go into it too much. He kind of just look at the stats that we have, and he makes the game plan very easy for us to understand as well. And I really appreciate that. I think I've had struggle before where it's too much, and I really like how Seth does it easy for us and how easy it is and stuff. Yeah.
Well, Spoit, you mentioned maybe pre-international event expectations. Can you talk to me about any final preparations you guys are going to make before playoffs coming up next week? Any final things you're looking to iron out before we get you out of here?
You know, just gonna keep going. I don't know when playoffs is exactly. I just show up on the day and play. That's what I do.
That's what I did back in the day. I never looked at the schedule.
Next
No,
week.
but I can imagine we have a few days before playoffs. I mean, I think we're playoffs ready already. I think we've been playing good so far. You know, we had that first hiccup game against Envy in the first week or whatever. But since then, it's been good, yeah. So
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, Spoit. Congrats again on the win. Undefeated on the stage, and we will see you on Wednesday when the playoffs begin, in case you have to put that on your calendar. See you then.
Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Spoit. Big win for Shopify Rebellion, undefeated. M80 put up a fight here or there, Lax, but it was just Shopify, the better team on the day.
They definitely did. And again, I mean, they just do such a good job at controlling that tempo, controlling that aggression, really just putting, you know, just their foot down in some of these situations and just realizing what the right play is, how they can play, how they can turn even a losing situation into a winning situation. They are just looking flawless so far. They have been flawless so far, and I'm really excited to what we're going to see in a best-of-3 series.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the fundamentals. I mean, we heard it in the winning comms, obviously. Like, even with 10 seconds left, there's still, yes, obviously, the energy is there, but there's still very clear and cut on where the last player is. Troy saying, I'm getting the diffuser down. Even though they're about to win the round, they're still focused. Troy saying, let me play the diffuser with the shield afterwards. Always focused about the game plan at hand. And also, I'm really happy that he mentioned Super a little bit and how he likes to take things easy, because seeing Super evolve as a player and then into coaching, it's definitely changed. I remember back when he stopped playing and retired a little bit, and I remember he said something, I don't know if it was on a stream, but it was very about not the fact that Siege doesn't have a perfect way to be played, and that when he was IGLing, it was almost like you couldn't necessarily make a mistake because there's a perfect way to do every single situation. And I remember him saying something about that now, you know, there's multiple ways that a round can be won. It's not necessarily perfect Siege. So the fact that he's saying keeps it light, keeps it good energy, focus on the areas that you can, and then go from there.
Well, as we said, Shopify, they stay undefeated. M80 with this loss, that now means SSG, in theory, could come back and take that third place spot in just a bit. But our next match, it is Cloud9 fighting for their lives. That 6th playoff spot, they still have a chance to make it. We'll tell you how exactly they can do that next.